Welcome back to Sunrise Ediwa. Yes, indeed, as you've seen in the welcoming slide there, Garba Shehu joins us from Abuja. He's the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President as we focus on the President's trip to China. Good morning and thank you for joining us today. Well, yes, indeed.
Thank you.
We've seen some highlights of this trip, but maybe you could start by telling us how the entire trip went, if you describe it as a success.
The president himself did say when he spoke to the Nigerian community in Beijing that perhaps this was, you know, the most supportive indication we have received from any country since independence. One country big as China is, and the successes that they've recorded, you know, offering, if you like me to use the word, mentorship to Nigeria to achieve industrialization. You know that China has been working with about 4 countries on the continent: Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Ethiopia, chosen as model states for the promotion of industrialization. Kenya is on the verge of a breakthrough, actually, as we speak. And here is China now saying to Nigeria, let's do this with you. I think this is the biggest thing that was achieved from this. China wants to, they want to teach us, if you like me to use the word, how do we achieve industrialization? We want to take you through. So that's where we are.
Okay, then let's break down some of the highlights of this agreement. Which of them speaks to this that you say China spoke about, industrializing Nigeria?
Well, there is an offer by China, and it's for us to take. For instance, they want to take about 4 maybe towns in the country, and they want to use them as models for specialized kind of production. That's how they started their own. This could be a fishing village that they can pick on. Set up all of the infrastructure that is intended to increase production on an industrial scale, and its processing and possibly export if we are able to meet, you know, local needs. Something is already happening, for instance, with the Ogun State, the free trade zone. I believe that the governor of Ogun State, in the course of this trip, because he was on the delegation, signed not less than 6 agreements, and there are even more that are coming. That would see a lot more come. First of all, there will be, of course, massive, you know, improvement of the infrastructure in that using the foreign, you know, investment that is coming from China, and a lot of these companies are expected to come in. Now, there is also the issue of the model farms that they have said they have offered 50 million, you know, to set up in 50 locations across the federation. So some of these things they speak to that issue as you just asked.
All right, so Ogun is one. Which are the other 3 cities?
No, I have not. I have no idea as to whether Ogun would actually be it. But I'm saying that clear indication is that Ogun had already started, and I would expect that probably they will not be overlooked. Which other cities? There is no decision. These are ongoing discussions, and Nigeria would decide how they want this thing. They could be coastal cities, they could be hinterland. I don't know as I speak to you at the moment.
So what kind of background in terms of the structure are we putting in place to ensure that when some of these investments come, we can also leverage and then not just wait for technology transfer, but take a step further, learning real fast?
Well, you know that among the packages also, in any case, China made clear that the new relationship is no longer about trade. Nigeria has the highest trade relationship all over the world with China now. It's no longer the issue of bringing goods into the country. No, they want to bring the infrastructure for the manufacture of this kind of goods in the country. Now, there is going to be a lot of training. For instance, they have raised scholarships. They had given 100 scholarships every year to Nigerians. They would give 700 scholarships going forward every year. They will also be training 1,000 technicians, artisans, the kind of people who will go into industry and they be involved in production. So all of these things are coming.
You know, before we get back to this, people have been asking, a whole lot of Nigerians want to know, what is this that we're getting into when we talk about this relationship between Nigeria and China? What are they likely to get in return?
Well, I believe that the very essence of it is it's a business relationship. They would obviously gain. They have aspiration to grow bigger than they are. China aspires to be the world's leading economy. The GDP they have, President Xi Jinping told our president, their current GDP is, their per capita income is about 8,000 US dollars. They aspire to raise it to 12,000 US dollars in 2030. So obviously, growth means, you know, more opportunities, more wealth for China, and you obviously cannot also ignore, you know, the aspect of diplomacy and politics that is all part of it. China wants to gain significant foothold in Africa. They have been talking about, in fact, amazingly, moving substantially their assets from United States and Europe to Africa. How that will be done, I don't know, but they're talking about it.
But again, talking more about this symbiotic relationship between Nigeria and China. For some, they still will be asking about some key sectors. You just reminded us of some of the people who were on the president's entourage, like the governor of Ogun State. But let's look at some key ministries or sectors. For instance, that of power, housing and works, and we'll also talk about solid minerals. Were you part of any of the discussions on how best to develop Nigeria's power sector?
Well, you know, the previous Jonathan administration had signed major agreements with China. On power, Mambila, I give you example, 4,000 megawatts. Railway, Calabar, Lagos, and Lagos, Kano. I cited this as examples. The problem has been that Nigeria was to contribute a portion, about 15% of the entire cost, put it on the table for China to bring all of the 85%. We failed. That's the problem. So therefore, at the end of it all, what the president decided was he will be setting up a technical committee to bring up our preparedness for fulfilling our commitments. I suspect, I have heard that perhaps as early as May, 1 or 2 or more of some of these agreements will be, having been renegotiated, will be signed. So we're expecting that there will be movement on these things. But I guess some homework will be done on the part of our own officials to prepare us, upgrade, or, you know, replace the agreements from what they were, you know, from the Jonathan area, you know, especially in the hope that probably further concessions may be obtained, you know, for Nigeria, given our lack of, you know, money at the moment. We probably could be paying less than what had been agreed. It all depends on whether Chinese would agree to this kind of thing.